Buongiorno, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about floral fragrances that can stand the harsh, cold winter weather. So I am a fan of floral fragrances. So I've always been all my life, and I was always struggling with finding floral fragrances that can really be suitable for winter weather. So if you are like me and you are a floral girl and you want something that you can wear during winter, then this video is definitely for you. But before going into the list, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Noura, and on this channel I mostly talk about fragrances. So if you are a fragrance lover, then please consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. Also follow me on Instagram, where I post some exclusive content that I don't do here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's start. Let's start the list with designer fragrances. The first one is Narciso Ambree. This is a tropical, musky, ambery fragrance. You have here a lot of frangipani mixed with the signature musk of Narciso and also some amber. It's a very warm and strong fragrance, and this is why, although it's kind of a tropical fragrance, I can't wear it during summer or even late spring. I can only pull this off in cold weather. I know that some people don't have any issues and they can wear it during summer, but I just can't. So if you are looking for something warm and cozy but yet gives you like a tropical feeling or transports you to a tropical like place, then don't look further. Narciso Ambree is one of the most beautiful fragrances from his line. I actually have a buying guide on Narciso fragrances. You can check it in the description down below, and I will also leave it in the eye up here. And I would also include Poudre, but for me, Poudre I can tolerate even like late spring. It's only in like the very heat of the summer that I can't wear Poudre. So for tropical winter fragrance, if that makes any sense, Narciso Ambree. Next fragrance is a designer, but it is unfortunately discontinued. I know what you are thinking. I still will include this fragrance because I find like the whole line can be worn during winter. So I am talking about Prada La Femme Absolu. This one I find the most suitable for cold weather because it's the darkest, strongest, let's say, from the line. However, the Intense and like the original Prada La Femme works beautifully also during winter. I actually blind bought this fragrance because I am totally in love with the whole line. So I didn't know how this fragrance smelled. And to be honest, when I first sprayed it, I was a little bit disappointed. I didn't like it much. It was a little bit, how can I call it, vintagey, like, let's spray it. Yeah, it has a touch of something that is a little bit more like vintage. I don't know what it is, but it does disappear and it becomes quite strong. I would say a very strong, intense version of the original La Femme. Now, if you are familiar with the original La Femme, it's quite feminine, yellow, white flower fragrance. It has frangipani, it has tuberose, it has some beeswax in the notes. It's one of the most feminine fragrances I have in my collection. And the Intense version, I would say, in my opinion, it's quite similar, but it goes more toward a yellow flower experience than a white flower one. This smells like as if you took, I don't know, the original one and just added a lot of like deep oriental ambery notes to it. So I looked up the notes on the Absolu version, and shockingly, if you read the notes that are listed on Fragrantica, you would think this is a totally different fragrance. It has almost nothing in common with the original DNA of La Femme or like the Intense. So I will tell you the notes. You have in the top notes peach, Orange Blossom and Chili Pepper. You have in the mid Orange Blossom, Neroli, Immortelle, Broom, and in the base you have Tolu Balsam and Vanilla. To be completely honest, I don't know. I could, yes, imagine that they added the Tolu Balsam. This is what I was speaking about, like adding an ambery, almost like deep dark side to the original. But I can still smell La Femme, although the notes are totally different. I don't know if Fragrantica has the right notes, but anyway, if you can find this fragrance, I would highly recommend it for winter. If you can't find it because it is discontinued, then just go with the original La Femme or even the Intense one. They work beautifully, although I have to admit they are not like the most wintry florals on this list. Hi, Noura from another day. I was just editing the video and I realized that I forgot about a very important fragrance to mention, and that is L'Interdit Rouge. Now I am showing you the Rouge, but any of the L'Interdit, except maybe the Eau de Toilette, are perfect for winter. My favorite one is L'Interdit Rouge, which is definitely a cold weather fragrance for me. Very, very sexy, has like the DNA of L'Interdit. So the white floral, tuberose, jasmine, and then it has like a very bright opening because there is blood orange, and it has a kick because it has a pimento leaf, which you can get. So it's a little bit spicy, it's kind of a deep red, sexy fragrance. I would also definitely recommend for winter the Intense. Actually, I would say the Intense is the one that is more suitable for winter. This I can pull off during autumn also, but it must be more of a cold weather, while the Intense one is for me a definite winter fragrance. Some people prefer the Rouge, other people prefer the Intense. You can choose what you want. The Intense one has a very, very particular note of sesame, which makes it a little bit understated. So it's still a very good performing fragrance. All of L'Interdit are like amazing in performance, and they are very loud fragrances, except for the Intense. It is loud, but in a different way, because of the sesame note, because of the feeling it gives. It doesn't have the sharpness that you would find in the rest of L'Interdit. So it's a little bit smoother in a way. And the sesame gives it a little bit of a nutty, powdery, dusty feeling. It's absolutely gorgeous. I personally prefer the Rouge, but both of them are beautiful. Actually, also the original L'Interdit. All three of them are perfect for winter. And by the way, I have a buying guide on L'Interdit line. You will find it in the description down below, as well in the eye up here if you want to know more about this line. Now let's get to niche fragrances, and the first one I already mentioned that it is perfect for winter, and it is the Bewitching Yasmine from Penhaligon's. Now this is my obsession recently. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's quite unique because it's an oud jasmine combination. So we are used to the rose oud combination by now, but this is quite different because here the oud is mixed with jasmine. And I know it sounds weird, but it works. You will not get the jasmine in the beginning of the fragrance, but in the dry down, the jasmine, at least on my skin, really comes through, shines. It has this backbone of oud. Oud, it's one of like the best introduction into oud fragrances in my opinion. It's not animalic, it's not off-putting. Yes, when you first spray it, a little bit. Always with oud fragrances, the first blast is a little bit harsh, but I always, when I test oud fragrances, I have to wait for the dry down to really judge it. And here it's really bewitching. It's a beautiful scent, very sensual in a way, sexy in a dark way. Somehow it's absolutely stunning and has an amazing performance. Highly recommend it. It's, for me, till now, my favorite Penhaligon's fragrance. So the Bewitching Yasmine, for a very unique oud and jasmine combination. Another quite recent addition to my fragrance collection is Amouage Lilac Love. Now, this is for those who love lilac, and lilac is not one of the most popular notes in fragrances, and there aren't like really a lot of fragrances that have this note. It has a very like bright, strong, powdery touch to it, and it has also a side that is a little bit harsh. So not a lot of people love lilac, but if you do, one of the most beautiful lilac fragrances on the market, if not the most beautiful one. This is part of the Secret Garden collection that has also Love Tuberose, Honor, Love Mimosa, and other fragrances. And they all are like floral fragrances that are mixed with some gourmand notes. So here it is mixed with cacao, which a lot of people say that they smell in this fragrance. I don't smell it. I get like this sweet, but not too much, like a sweet, almost whipped cream gourmandy touch, but I don't get cacao, to be honest. Absolutely stunning. If you love lilac fragrances or you love powdery fragrances, then definitely check Lilac Love from Amouage. And although the color of the bottle and everything, this is the fragrance that I personally cannot wear like in any season. Just in cold weather, it's when this fragrance shines, and it also smells like a cloud. Very comforting and beautiful scent. So Lilac Love from Amouage. Another unique flower that not a lot of people like is Narcissus, and it is the predominant note of this fragrance. This is Siwa from MEMO. This is mostly about Narcissus. Now, if you look on Fragrantica, you will see there is, I don't know, popcorn and rum and other notes that MEMO doesn't list. Honestly, I don't get this popcorn note. I get a little bit of booziness, but just a touch, not like really a lot. To me, this smells like a balmy, oily Narcissus smell. And it's almost like a dry oil, so it has a dryness to it. Actually, it is inspired by an oasis in the desert, so I guess it's quite fitting to have like this dry feeling to it. It's balmy but yet dry, so this is why I say it feels like a dry oil. Absolutely stunning fragrances. The thing about it that it doesn't have like the best performance. It doesn't project much. It's not a screamer. It's more of an intimate fragrance, but it does, at least on my skin, last quite long, especially if you spray on clothes. But it's not very loud. So it is a fragrance that I would say is suitable if you don't like very loud fragrances, if you want to have like more of an intimate fragrance and you love Narcissus, you can't go wrong with this one. Very underrated from MEMO. Not a lot of people speak about Siwa, but I absolutely loved it. Like from the first time I smelled that fragrance, I was obsessed with it. So Siwa from MEMO. Speaking about MEMO, next fragrance is Lalibela from MEMO. And Lalibela is a combination of incense and rose. It's quite a complex fragrance. I would say rose is very like front and center here alongside the vanilla and the incense. It has quite a woody patchouli base. So it is categorized as a chypre floral, but the added incense and the whole vibe of this fragrance makes it not suitable for like hot weather at all. It's definitely a cold weather fragrance for sure. It has almost like sugary sweet rose, like rose syrup. And then it's mixed with like incense. It's a very unique scent, not for everybody. It's not like if you love rose, you would love this fragrance. This is one of the fragrances that you have to test for yourself. I personally enjoy this fragrance, but it's not a scent profile that I would wear frequently, and this is why I don't have like a full bottle of it. I do have like a small travel size that I don't know where I misplaced somewhere. But yeah, anyway, Lalibela is definitely for someone who wants to make a statement. It's quite powerful, very strong. So yeah, if you love incense, you love rose, maybe you are okay with woody notes, then definitely Lalibela is for you, because this one is a beast fragrance. It will withstand any cold, any harsh weather. Next two fragrances are predominantly jasmine fragrances. First one is Jo Malone, Jasmine, Sambac and Marigold. I know a lot of people wear this like all year round. Again, for me, this is a cold weather fragrance. It's very, very, very strong. If you love jasmine, like really love jasmine, you will adore this fragrance. One of the best jasmine fragrances ever. And it's extremely long lasting, at least on my skin, and very projecting, so you don't need much. I know the reputation of Jo Malone is that fragrances of Jo Malone are like light and don't have like the best performance. This behaves like an intense, like a parfum on my skin. So I don't know about cologne intense, but it does like behave like a very intense eau de parfum on my skin. So don't worry about the performance here. It's quite simplistic, like all Jo Malone fragrances are. So the star here is the jasmine. You have marigold, which actually I struggle a little bit with in fragrances, but for me, it just works here. I don't know why. It has also some ylang ylang, and I think it was a honey. I don't get it much, actually, the honey note. Maybe if you look for it. I get more the ylang ylang than I get the marigold, to be honest. And also it has a benzoin, so it's very, it has a sweetness, a creamy sweetness to it, which I absolutely love. A stunning, stunning fragrance that I'm so happy that I finally added to my collection. So Jasmine, Sambac and Marigold. I think I have to finish this video because my voice is failing me. Next one is another jasmine fragrance, but totally different. And that is Vert Malachite from Armani Prive. My first fragrance from this line, and you all know my obsession with Armani Prive fragrances. It was, for the longest time, my favorite fragrances of all time, like for 2 years maybe, was in the top of my list. I still love the fragrance, but it's not like my favorite jasmine anymore. And this is definitely a fragrance that I can only wear again during winter, because this is a creamy, sweet jasmine. It's very similar to BDK Tubereuse Imperiale, which is, I know, a tuberose fragrance, but if you imagine instead of the tuberose jasmine in that fragrance, you will have Vert Malachite. Very, very creamy, vanillic jasmine, almost a bubblegummy jasmine in a way. It has also, again, ylang ylang, which gives it to me a little bit of the sweet creaminess. And again, we have the benzoin and vanilla. I absolutely love benzoin. It has a vanillic touch, but it has this creaminess to it. So it's not as sweet as vanilla, but it gives a very creamy base to the fragrances, and this is why I love it. Yeah, it's stunning. Imagine a bubblegummy jasmine. This is Vert Malachite. Absolutely beautiful and so sweet, and I'm not a fan of sweet fragrances. This is for me like chef's kiss. And since I talked about Vert Malachite and how it is compared to Tubereuse Imperiale, of course, the next one is Tubereuse Imperiale. From all the tuberose fragrances, I would say this is the most winter-like because it's very sweet. And when I smelled that fragrance, I was like debating, should I include it or not to my collection? But then I found like Vert Malachite is more suitable for me because it is jasmine and I love jasmine, while I don't hate tuberose, but I struggle a little bit with this note. So I decided not to get it. However, it's a beautiful scent that yeah, not a lot of people talk about this fragrance. Very creamy. If you know Vert Malachite, imagine that one, but with tuberose. So they are quite similar, just a different flower. Very creamy, very vanillic sweet. Very bubblegummy, sweet tuberose fragrance. If you love the note of tuberose and you love sweet fragrances, look no further. And I would say this one is more suitable for winter than Love Tuberose from Amouage, because although Love Tuberose has a gourmand sweetness to it, and I think it was with cream, here it's the sweetness, the dense creaminess that makes it, for me, a total winter perfume. And with that, I finished all the floral fragrances that I find, in my opinion, are suitable for winter. Please tell me in the comments down below any designer floral fragrance that you find suitable for winter, because I struggled a little bit, so maybe I forgot about some of them. So please tell me in the comments down below so I can check these fragrances. I hope you liked this video and you found it helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time. Ciao.